equipment. I fucking heard him. I swear I heard something.
Ja. Oh shit. Oh, ist Simon weg.
They have to be here.
This all started a few months ago, when we were given an assignment. It was a rather large assignment, so a certain air of anxiety and nervousness was in the atmosphere. While it sounded quite vague, the subject was effective climate change on the Rhine River. This meant that we would have to go to Germany and find out what's happening. To help us on our way, we followed a lecture on climate change, which was honestly quite depressing, but one thing remained important. Even though the situation seems dire, there is always hope. This brought us to rewilding, a way of reintroducing previously extinct animals back into their native habitats, where they have great impacts on the local landscape and ecosystem. Apparently, rewilding is a big thing in Germany. Animals like bisons who had been hunted to extinction are making a comeback in the country. But as is evident from the title, we're not here to talk about bisons. We are here to talk about beavers. There are tons in Bavaria, but what's interesting about them is that they're using the Rhine as a highway, migrating to other provinces in the country. And that's how we ended up in Rheinland-Pfalz, which was only 2 train rides away. Once the group had arrived in Worms, first impressions weren't that great.
Worms is a very eerie town, very strange, very different to anything I know. But the first thing I'm trying to do is just find these beavers. That's what I want.
We are here to find them, to film them, and to find out, because the beaver is causing trouble as well, if it's possible to live together, you know, beavers and human.
This is one of the only situations in which humans aren't the only culprit.
Our hunt for information begins with phone calls. Lots and lots of phone calls.
Hi, good morning. You are talking to Matthijs. I have called you this morning as well. I am the journalist.
But after many rejections, we received a glimmer of hope. Zoologist Steffi Venske becomes the first person to agree to an interview.
We finally had our first interviewee, who was this big person who knew a lot about the beavers.
As Matthijs arrives at the heart of beaver activity in Worms, Alexander is still in the apartment, continuing the search for beaver victims.
Hello, good day. I would like to try to contact the Weingut am Dom in Worms, which is, I believe, a part of your cooperative, but I can't seem to find any contact information online.
Contacting people was a mess. It was awful. I felt so done at the end of it.
How long does a meeting take? Like, is that like...
Let's say, what time is it right now?
It's 12:30.
I mean, let's give it till 1:02 even.
Yeah.
1:02.
Let's do that then.
1:02.
I wait half an hour. I call the actual number that they gave us, and I start explaining to the woman on the phone what we are doing here and who we are, and the response I get is, yeah, we can't help you because this is the radiologist's office. I was done. I was so, I didn't want to call anyone, but I started laughing because, I mean, in a way you have to laugh at your own suffering because otherwise you're not going to get through it.
Ja, mein Name ist Stefanie Venske. Ich habe Diplom-Geografie studiert und seit über 25 Jahren arbeite ich für die Gesellschaft für Naturschutz und Ornithologie hier in Rheinland-Pfalz mit dem Schwerpunkt Biber. Der Biber ist in den Köpfen der Menschen eine vergessene Tierart. Er ist ein großer Landschaftsgestalter. Er gestaltet die Gewässer um, er fällt Bäume, er staut Wasser auf, alles ohne Genehmigung. Und dieser Strukturvielfalt kommt vielen weiteren Arten zugute. Also ein Biberrevier ist immer ein Hotspot der Artenvielfalt. Wir in Rheinland-Pfalz haben 1000, 1200 aufwärts ungefähr, kann man rechnen. Der Rhein ist eigentlich so ein bisschen eine Biberautobahn. In Rheinland-Pfalz oder auch in Baden-Württemberg, unser Nachbarland, gab es keine aktiven Wiederansiedlungen. Wir haben gewartet, dass der Biber auf natürliche Weise wieder einwandert von den umliegenden Ländern. Natürlich gibt es auch Beschwerden über den Biber und deswegen auch dieses aktive Konfliktmanagement, deswegen das Bibermanagement. Der Biber braucht kein Management, die Menschen brauchen das Management. Der Biber geht raus und baut, wie er will. Aber dort, wo Biber und Mensch dasselbe Gebiet nutzen, dort sind die Konflikte. Und wir sind quasi die Vermittler bei diesen Konflikten und haben eine beratende Funktion. Also wenn ich einen Landwirt habe, der sehr dicht am Wasser wirtschaftet und anbaut, kann es Probleme mit dem Biber geben. Auch wenn der Biber einen Damm baut und es stehen Felder oder Wege unter Wasser, dann müssen wir kommen und bei einem Termin besprechen, wie kann man für beide Seiten eine gute Lösung finden.
The interview went amazing, and then we got home, and I looked at the footage, and it was lagging. The main camera they used was performing horribly, and this just drowned me. Because this is the thing that I do here in this project. I film and I edit, so when the footage is not right, how are you supposed to film?
Are you mad at the camera?
Yeah.
I felt so distraught to see that the footage was lagging. And we worked so hard, we were so happy with the interview, and it just didn't work. And it was scary. We didn't know where we were going to go with this footage that we did, and that made me really nervous.
We found a perception study conducted by Maximilian Hum and Simon Musch. We got to speak to the latter.
Okay. Why is it important to conduct a survey like this? Why did you do this research in the first place?
So we did this research in the first place because when you want to manage animals in some ways and give them habitat or make protection measures or recompensation measures, it is important to collect what the general perception of beavers is, even though it's tough. Because a lot on the management about an animal depends on how it's perceived by different organizations.
So, what is the public perception of beavers?
Beavers have a huge positive impact on the landscape, on biodiversity. The dams they build, they slow down the rivers. They create little ponds, which are very important for lots of frogs and fish and waterfowl. Lots of people bring the argument that it is a moral responsibility to give an animal like beavers habitat, an animal we have almost killed to extinction, an animal that is an ecosystem engineer that brings positive impacts on nature, and that it also teaches us to live together with another animal, not just self-centered, because we're not just living alone in this world and this planet, in this country. Sharing habitat with other wild species also makes you a better human being. What I've seen is, of course, if there's a beaver dam somewhere and there's very huge flooding, and beaver dams bursts, then the connection is always to the beavers. The beavers built a dam and it broke, and it's putting the argument away from that the flooding comes from our responsibilities, climate change. No one would talk about that the flooding would be reduced because of beaver dams there. That's not a catchy story.
Why are people bothered by the beavers? What are they doing wrong?
It's sometimes easier to blame something else than look at other problems that might have caused this. to deal with climate change, reducing your current crop outcome, dealing with other issues, why you don't make as much money with your crops as you used, why it costs more to produce. So the beaver might only be the last tiny drop that just worsens your situation as a farmer or as a forester, where you don't make as much as you planned. I think a lot has to do with the negativity of press media. It's very easy and catchy, and it's very sexy to write a negative story about beavers because it sells very well. But beavers are also bring benefits. This is why we brought them back.
Do you know what beaver bombing is?
No.
What beaver bombing is? What is beaver bombing?
Beaver bombing is what started all this. Olivier Rubert is an expert on the topic because he is the original beaver bomber.
A rotary.
Today we are on our way to meet Olivier, the original beaver bomber. It is 6:20. We left at like 5-ish.
And from the moment that we found Olivier's contact, it was something concrete and it felt very hopeful.
But then he never responded.
Yeah, then it ended up being the wrong phone number.
I dialed the wrong phone number. Pelana eventually called the right number from the website, and she got him on the phone from the first try. Life has ways of humbling. I was pretty happy I found Steffi as well, and I thought I was on a roll, and then something like that happens, and it puts you back on the ground.
It's absolutely ridiculous because we have almost no problems with hunters and farmers. We only have problems with beaver managers that are managing politically.
Oh, they built a new lodge.
It's big.
Oh,
it's big.
Hola. Hola, what a...
Damn.
Could you maybe quickly explain what beaver bombing is, if you know what it is?
Well, beaver bombing, it's an expression, quite recent expression used to mention beaver introductions. That can be official or that can be not so official. And actually, in a long time ago, it was about a quarter of a century ago, in between 1998 and 2000, I introduced about 100 beavers in Wallonia. And we wanted to go the official way, but because the authorities were really difficult, then we decided to do it without the authorities.
Olivier is putting it quite mildly here. Beaver bombing is the illegal reintroduction of beavers. He smuggled beavers from Germany over the Belgian border and reintroduced them into the Ardennes for a noble cause.
Despite the fact I had a relatively low knowledge of nature at that time, I could understand the power of this project. So we introduced these beavers from Germany, from Bavaria, and from East Germany to here.
Did you face any legal action because the government at some point?
Yes, of course,
they
brought me to justice. Of course. But it was not such a big problem. I was condemned for €500 to pay. It's about €2 per beaver. That's fine. There was no law forbidding beaver reintroduction of wild species. So I said, well, there is no. How can you persecute me because there was nothing wrong in reintroduction? And they did condemn me for transport and keeping beavers, but for €500. Because normally, if you have a wild protected animal, you cannot transport it and protect it for any reason, even for reintroduction. Belgian beavers are colonizing the Maas in France, down up to Verdun, and from the Maas they're colonizing the Seine, to Paris. The first beavers in Paris will be Belgian beavers, actually. So all northern France will be colonized thanks to Belgian beavers. So it was a success, of course, yes.
Beavers are nocturnal animals. So, if we're hoping to see one, we're going to have to go on a stakeout at night.
What are your thoughts as we go to look for beavers?
I hope we're gonna see a beaver.
I'm excited. I think we'll see one.
And then we get these beavers.
Really want to catch a beaver. I get to see a beaver or two.
I'm looking forward to the stakeout. It's gonna be fun. It's beaver time.
The plan is we have 2 wildlife cameras. We put one on one side and one on the other side. And we also split up.
Hello everyone. Today we're back where we started. We're at the site where the beaver lodge and the beaver dam is. Steffi brought us here originally and now we're here on our own. We have our good guide Justin with us. He's going to help us out live through the eyes of the beaver to find one, hopefully.
Now we sit tight, wait, hopefully we don't freeze to death. But that's about it for the moment.
So, Matthias is on his way to get our big LED light in the hopes of getting a better view. But for now, I'll be alone. So let's hope no Blair Witch business happens. Where are you, dude?
I'm at the benches now.
Okay, I need you to come quick. We need to move the equipment. I fucking heard them.
What?
I heard them.
Yeah, I also need to go to their side.
Yeah, we need to the other side. Dude, I heard like yelling and them splashing in the water. I swear I heard something.
Yeah. Watch it. Oh, I see one, I think.
Yeah, film it. I know we all made jokes about this being the Beaver Witch project, but now that I've been here for about half an hour, alone, waiting, hearing sounds in the woods, this is genuinely terrifying. Oh, Matthias is back. I thought I was dead for a full second.
Okay, so we keep seeing things and hearing things, and it's never beavers. So it's starting to get first depressing, secondly scary, and thirdly cold because our socks are wet, our pants are wet, everything's just wet. And this seems like an awful big waste of time.
Sadly, we never saw a beaver. As Steffi mentioned, it is a forgotten animal. It hides itself well. That's why even though it has a huge effect on its environment, the beaver doesn't get the credit, and perhaps the notoriety it deserves. In the end, they are wild animals. Nature isn't ours to control, and the beaver will keep on building.